They say your wedding day is the happiest day of your life, unless your guest list turns into the Hunger Games and your mother-in-law is the final boss. When 143 became 163, the wedding that broke the guest list, and my mother-in-law, the first fight we ever had was over napkins. Not colors or flowers or music, napkins. My mother-in-law, Doreen, wanted monogrammed linen. I wanted biodegradable chic. That crinkles, she said, holding one like a used tissue. It sounds cheap. I remember the exact tilt of her head, the way she smoothed her black blouse and whispered cheap as if it were a medical condition. I laughed. Genuinely. Because how do you argue over napkins? That was before I learned napkins are never just napkins. We had planned a small wedding. Intimate. Meaningful. 80 guests each, give or take. My mom was thrilled with her 78 and 2 floats. Doreen submitted her first list with 2 names. Some are just courtesy invites, she said. They won't all come. She had color-coded them. Green for must, yellow for should, and pink for would be offended. When my fiancé, Nick, gently suggested trimming, she launched a campaign of emotional warfare I wasn't prepared for. "You're ashamed of your family," she told him. "I didn't raise you to be like this." Later that week, she mailed us a baby picture of Nick taped to a note that read, "Did this boy dream of cutting his godparents from his wedding?" Things got slippery fast. Doreen began RSVPing for people directly. She had called relatives before we sent invites. "You're coming, right?" I already told them. At first it was a handful. 10 extra names. Then 20. Our planner flagged it when the catering numbers jumped by 15 in 2 days. I confronted Nick. He confronted his mom. "You told me I could invite who I wanted," she said, crying. "Now I have to uninvite people? You're humiliating me." She said I was tearing the family apart over a party. She told Nick I was turning him against blood. He cried that night, quietly, shoulders shaking, in the kitchen while I pretended to sleep. The final guest count? 163. We gave up. There was no containing it anymore. We rented 2 more tables. The florist charged us triple for expanding the arrangement. My aunt gave up her seat for some third cousin who called me Carrie all night. Doreen was radiant that day. She wore a gold silk wrap and beamed at every person she had brought. During the ceremony, I scanned the crowd and saw faces I didn't know. Faces I never got to meet. At the reception, she gave a toast. She said, "When I saw all our loved ones gathered, I knew we did the right thing, despite the stress." I smiled. My new last name tasted bitter in my mouth. The fallout came fast. 3 of our closest friends ghosted us after the wedding. One had been seated near the kitchen and never got a second helping. Another had to Uber home early after being bumped from the shuttle. My cousin Amanda, a single mom I adore, wasn't even invited in the final shuffle. "No room," Doreen had said. She won't take offense. She did. She hasn't returned a call since. And Nick? Nick grew quiet. Withdrawn. His guilt manifested in 3 a.m. dishwashing and unprompted apologies. 2 months after the wedding, he told his mother not to visit for a while. She cried, said she was being, quote, out of his life like she ruined it. He didn't disagree. I still love my husband. Fiercely. But a piece of what was supposed to be ours alone, was stolen. It's not just the guest list, it's that I didn't matter enough. Not to her, maybe not to him either, not when it counted. Our wedding photos are beautiful, but when I look at them, all I see are strangers. And Doreen in gold, smiling like she won. Y'all, not Doreen running the guest list like it's a hostage negotiation. First of all, color-coding guests by who would be offended is peak evil genius energy. Like, ma'am, this isn't risk, this is a wedding, not a military operation. Also, mailing your son a baby photo with a guilt trip note? That's not just manipulative, that's Oscar-worthy. Like, Doreen's got a BAFTA for Best Supporting Actress in My Son's Emotional Breakdown. And poor Nick. Dude's out here trauma cleaning dishes at 3 a.m., like the ghost of wedding past is haunting the silverware. Meanwhile, Doreen's floating around in a gold silk wrap like she's the damn Queen of Versailles. And the audacity, the pure Olympic-level audacity, to give a toast and say, despite the stress, girl, you were the stress. This wasn't just a hijacked guest list. This was a full-blown family coup d'etat in heels and highlighter pens. And the worst part? The bride got erased in her own story. If that last line didn't punch you in the feelings, go get your empathy checked. Doreen didn't attend the wedding, she colonized it. If this one hit a nerve, you're not alone. Drop your own wedding horror stories in the comments. Doreen's reign of terror must not go unchallenged.